It's because this is... Really? In case you're wondering, that was the teleprompter making the sounds of connections several minutes after those connections were done. All right. Greetings and felicitations again, my fellow perceptive purple people. I wanted to take a few moments to talk with you about how certain results of elections tend to get misconstrued by whichever party that won them. Although I am referring loosely to the recent special election in Texas, I am more referring to a trap that I have noticed over the years that both parties tend to fall into whenever they flip a district. Years ago, the relatively red district that I live in had a flip in an election where a progressive Democrat narrowly beat the Republican that was an all but assured victory. After the requisite multiple recounts had been settled and the new assemblyman had been seated, I noticed two very important things then. The most pertinent of these prove that I think that you should consider before buying too much into the victory talk by the Democratic talking heads that are already and will be continuing to spew into the various social medias. First and foremost, an anomalous election does not, I repeat, not necessarily mean a change in the actual electorate itself. I heard and still hear the same old stupidity about how a given district is turning blue or red or whatever. The truth is that we figured out here a long time ago, the districts are almost all purple of varying shades. One election doesn't change that. So that leaves the question, why would such an anomalous election result occur? Well, fortunately, and this is something that we here at the American Purple Party are counting on, by the way, the electorate has not dropped to such a level of political bias or ignorance that you can get just anybody elected simply by having a preferred letter after their name on the ballot. No, even a deep red district will flip if you have a candidate or perspective of the party running and candidate that is so repugnant to the entire voting population that even your own normally steadfast voters will vote the other way. Now, in the case of the local election several years ago, the candidate offered was the anchor against the party's victory. In this more recent election in Texas, the party's image is the anchor against the candidate's victory. The people of the community did not change. Do not expect a sudden wave of party defections from the Republicans to the Democrats in that area. It didn't happen here, and it won't happen there. If the Democratic Party wants to attempt to keep that district flip, don't expect the usual progressive agenda bit to have any power over those voters. Here, only a candidate that not only understands the needs and wants of the constituency, but can convince the voters to rise above the party mentalities has any real chance of keeping that seat. As I honestly do not believe that the Democrats have it in them to make that happen, I will simply wish them good luck on that. The other thing that I noticed was an extraordinarily dishonest, dirty trick tactic that the Republicans of the local district used to tarnish the personal reputation of the assemblyman that is actually a despicable act of misinforming the voting public. The way this one works is a combination honeypot scam and slap suit, followed by quoting the unproven allegations in the filed suit in public forums, media, and mailers as if they were actual fact, with no transparency about the whole thing included anywhere. It matters not if the accusations are completely fabricated bullshit. The fact that they're now in a publicly filed lawsuit gives license to use them as negative public advertisements as if they were real. Why does this matter? Well, it uses emotionally charged lies as arguing points to cloud the real issues where clarity and cool-headed logic are needed the most by our voting friends and neighbors. To be totally candid, it kind of pisses me off. Unfortunately, we have all seen all the stops being pulled out in this brazen attempt to reform our country from a representative republic into a Soviet-style disaster. So expect to see this trick become more and more obvious and prevalent in the near future. In fact, I thoroughly expect escalation, folks. I will be legitimately surprised if some new federal investigation doesn't get trumped up for this, just us department, to try to pull basically the same trick that I described earlier. So what are your thoughts about this? Do you find our position reasonable, or do you have more logical and/or rational ideas on the subject? Do be prepared for vigorous yet polite debate, but let's hear it. As always, I'll see you in the comments section below. Till our next chat, remember to keep your balance and stay purple, people. We'll see you again real soon, and let's get America together again.